can't do 10K for a suite, then I don't want to hear no chat about numbers. You man are my youngers, all blacked out like grungers.
I'm gonna figure out what to do in that first second or two, because you really set me up, Tim. Where there's before the intro comes in, there's a minute of me just looking in space. So I don't know if I gotta pull up a prop or something. But very big show today. Episode 16 of the Unrelated Show. We have big guest, the not reigning Minifan of the Year, but Minifan of the Year, Manners. No, I'm kidding. We have KMS expert Jeff D Lowe. Tim, can we bring in Jeff D Lowe with yourself? Actually, usually I bring you in, but I'm nervous today. I'm nervous, Jeff. This is a big one for me. I've actually been I've been a longer fan of yours than I have Kirk's.
Really? Okay.
Yes, because Kirk was I got into him during COVID, because nothing was fucking happening, and all these sports shows I was listening to weren't talking about shit. And long-term Barstool guy. The Dozen's my number 2.
That's good to hear.
It's literally the only 2 things I consume. I don't watch TV, movies. We're not going to talk movies here because I got nothing for you. But I will watch The Dozen every single time. I've watched every Dozen.
We're in the heat of the season. I was up. This is my 7-day-a-week time of the year now. I was up late last night we've already recorded almost every remaining match until the tournament. So I'm fired up. I'm ready to go.
We got 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks, is it?
Yeah, we have a full slate next week. No, we have 3 really. Full slate of 3 next week. We have either 3 or 4 the week after that, depending on scenarios. There might be a 1-game playoff, and then we have the play-in tournament, and then it's a week off before the big show in Chicago, which is going to be crazy. It's crazy this year.
Yes, and so there's going to be an event in Boston, right? Which is just going to be mid-advance.
We'll be live the 17th, 18th, and 19th from Chicago. It's double elimination this year. And then the final 4 will be in Boston on the 26th of June. So yeah, I'm excited. The week off in between the final 4 I prefer, which is what we used to do, or we've done in the past, and I just prefer that. Last year was fun, but there's something about the build up, the week-long build up is just so much better than 24 hours, because it just doesn't give people enough time to really digest everything.
How many people do you get there? Is it just a regular theater? We're talking 1,200, or I don't know, because the crowds are crazy. The crowds are so
about 1,200. Yeah, it depends. It depends where we go. The one in Chicago last year was bigger. House of Blues is 1,000 in Boston, but it gets loud. People get rowdy, which we like, which is good. So yeah, I'm pumped. This is gonna be a good one this year. It's just the shorter season was better. It was more competitive. Every match mattered. So yeah, I'm very, very excited.
I think the big thing as well is the less teams, because just when you get 19 versus 20, it's just it can be a slog, man. It's not even the points. Sometimes you get people who don't even say anything, so that can be a bit of a
which is what I try to. Look, it's tough because it's a show that is kind of built on getting everyone involved, and it's a show that Dave can play, but also a producer who's trying to make a name for himself can play, which is great. But there have been teams in the past where you're this is fucking paint dry. This is not great. So this year we had a good group. I was very happy with it this year, and it ends. There's a couple areas in the next week or 2 which are fucking excellent. So very excited.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, because even the shitty teams this year, they're very funny. Like Yandel and fucking Marty Mush. That's a great team. They stink, but they're awesome.
Right. They did you watch their one from last week? It was fucking.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's great. It's so funny.
Playing spoiler.
It's so fucking funny.
I think having less teams as well though. When you had teams 19 and 20 last year. Like you say, if they were shit, they were you knew they were just going to get dog walked. But who was it? Gruden's team started this year, and I thought they're going to be fucking dreadful. And now they're back in it.
Yeah, no, they're. I mean, they are in a position. Let's make sure I'm not spoiling anything. They're in a position where they win this upcoming week. They at least get a chance at the 10 seed, kind of out of nowhere. They lost their last couple. He's been funny. Gruden picks his spots. He's been funny when he's on. So yeah, they've been. It's the other thing too is you got to get people who get the show, which I like people taking it seriously, but there is a level of don't take it too seriously. Like
right. Like when DA's like, I'll call my fire guy Terry. Like he'll never get it right, but that's funnier that way.
Right. It's like I want you to care. I want you to, but like, there's a reason why the experts are like as easy to listen to as they get. They played the longest. Brandon, like they filled. There's no dead space. They fill all the time. They felt they got Booth Pony's been great. Obviously, Kirk's been great since day one of the show. So it's like there's levels to it. We're like, you can be serious, but you need that element of like at least have a little bit of fun. It isn't. I mean, I didn't want to say Jeopardy. There's people who treated it even more serious than Jeopardy. It's like, all right, it's like you're not gonna have fun with it. Don't even play. It's like it's not worth it.
Do you have any issues with people on teams that literally say nothing for an entire show? Yeah,
we don't have a ton of that this year, really.
I mean, Gruden's not great. Let's be honest.
No, but but I'll give him credit when he needs to talk, he does. And Montoya. Like the NFL stuff, he's good. He'll come in, he'll shit on Blutman. He'll kind of like, and like that's but see, like that's all I need from that. It's the people in the past. This year, we really didn't have it this year. It's in the past where
that's the whole thing. Yeah, the teams like the fact that it's been contracted, like it's so much better now.
Yeah, there have been people who like they literally will only talk when the timer's on. And like they'll say like what they think the answer is, and that's it. And they'll have no interjection. They want to have fun with it. We don't have as much of that anymore, thank God. But that's when it would really get me like when I start getting bored, that's a problem. Because I do enjoy each one, but like when I'm in the middle of a match, I'm like, this is a fucking slog. That's not good. That's when you know it's bad. Which we really didn't have any of that this year.
I don't know names. How much of the grinders come up do you think is from Gruden threatening to fire
from? That was, I mean, I'll tell you what, Blutman played better in his last match, so that was definitely part of it. But
I thought it was justified. I thought Blutman stank until then. That Malasek has carried that team.
He was, and so it is pretty funny because when we were making that team, what Malasek said was that I think he said like, I'm gonna have to be the woman of this team. I'm gonna have to know all the pop culture stuff.
Yeah, right. Music. He's a music guy. He knows everything about music.
Yeah, but he's been even better. Like he's been good in sports too, which I knew he knew sports. Like that's how I know him. I know him because he was a sports gambling intern. Like it's not like he's not like some pop culture guy who like just started to know sports. So yeah, and it whipped Blutman into shape a little bit. Blutman, it's trivia that's definitely newer. It's like 90s, 2000s for sure, some 2010s. So the younger people definitely benefit a little bit, but there's some people who are like too young, and like Blutman at times, it's like he's a little too young at times. Like there's a gap. Like
I think his window is like I don't know anything before 2014.
Right now, that's
nothing
not
after 19.
Not a great excuse. Maybe he didn't like sports until then. Like I know stuff from the 90s. I mean, I was at max 8 years old in the 90s, born in 91. I know some stuff from the 80s, and that's the same thing. And that's even less of an excuse for music and movies. I mean, if you watch a show, there's nothing drives me crazy than people saying, "Oh, that's before I was born."
That's what I was about to say. Like, I don't know anything about Van Halen because I was born in 1992. Like, that's the most fucking stupid excuse people say.
Sports, I get sports to an extent. I don't know a lot about sports prior to now. I know like the big broad stuff about sports prior to when I was born, but like the minute tiny details that I know from my era of sports, I don't know about. Now movies, TV, music, that's a whole different ball of wax. I mean, that's like I don't know, like you just don't like movies, music, and TV if you don't know like a little bit about before you're born. Like, I mean, I say to some people, I'm like, you don't have a favorite movie from prior to you being born? Like, I'm like, anyone who likes Star Wars close to my age, I mean, that's significantly before they were born, for example. So that always drives me nuts. That drives me nuts. I'm like, surely you've watched one movie older than you. Surely that has to be the case. But I get that.
I think you're talking to the wrong person here because Jackson hasn't seen a single movie ever.
Yeah, but I know trivia. Like I can tell you Clint Eastwood facts or something.
Right. And that's kind of my whole thing is like, it's okay if you don't know it. That's fine. Like if you give me a question,
yeah, but when they crack it, they get mad. They're like, "Oh, why do you keep giving me this 1980s crap?"
They're angry. Like I should like. Well, why? It's like, well, why would I know that? I don't know. It's like sometimes people know shit from before they were born. It's not that crazy. It's not that insane. Like it's okay if you don't know it, but they get like offended that I'm even asking them. That's like Jesus Christ.
That was also sort of the point of trivia. You don't know everything. You're gonna know some. You're not gonna know others. It'd be pretty fucking boring if everybody knew every answer to every question.
Right, and it's gotten easier over the last couple of years because there was a point in season 2. I remember Big Cat said it was good advice from Big Cat. Big Cat's like, look, he's like, I'm not gonna tell you to do your show, but he's like, we had a snag in season 2 where the matches were like 7-6, and it was like there was too much missing. There was not enough, like, in the end, like, you don't want to see teams not score. Like, the scoring is fun. Like, both teams missing can get, like, it drags a little bit. And he said, like, he's like maybe, like, you know, he's like, it might be worth dialing it back a little bit. And we did, and that's why we have it now. And there's also the factor too of, like, 5 years in, there's only so many tricky questions I can continue asking about the same thing. So, like, that's why scoring is up. But no, for sure, it's like there's that balance there. There's definitely, like, that balance there of, like, you know, how much people get, you know, you aren't going to know everything. People are, like, offended sometimes, like, well, I don't know. It's like, well, yeah, you don't know it. I don't know. The same thing is the thing that drives me. There's nothing that drives me crazier in that show ever than when somebody says their question was so much easier after their question had just been stolen. Like, well, I don't know, because you hear me say that's one of the things I probably say as much as anything. I'm like, I don't know. They got yours just as quickly as they got theirs, so I don't know what to tell you on that one.
It's a good asset, isn't it? If it gets stolen, they can't complain.
That's what I get with people saying about Dave's team. It's my counter everything. They're like, people say, well, you know, it's like you give Dave these softball questions. Like, first of all, Dave scores like the third least amount of points in the league, so I'm not giving Dave softball questions. 2, I'm like, that's like an offense to Eddie and Clem, who are actually really good at trivia. And, like, in 3, ZD last year had more steals than any team in the league. I'm like, like, hey, maybe if you think their questions are easier, fine. But if their opponents are getting hard questions, they were still getting those as well. So I'm like, I don't know how to. There's no real way to cut that one up. So that's the good teams don't complain. You'll notice that there's something about that, you know.
Just a ZD thought, because he really started a trend, Portnoy. Do you have any stats on, like, when Portnoy pulls the trigger within, like, 5 seconds of a question? You know, when, like, Clem's like,
Oh, I wish we had that.
I think it's
such
this,
a great
and
stat.
lock it in, you know?
Because their match
Large
against
does
Kirk.
Yeah, Kirk does it, Large does it. There's a lot of people now that do it. Like, it's a real use your instincts trend.
I talked to the ZD guys after their loss to Kirk last week, and I said, I was like, you know, I don't like coach these teams up, but I'll talk to them now and then because, like, you know, I have all the stats. You know, it's not like, you know, they're not like, it's not pro sports. You know,
you do give out scouting though. You give out scouting reports sometimes to teams that's been leaked.
Yeah, and I will, and, like, if teams ask, I'll give them stuff too. Like, I will say things. Like, if they want, I have everything. We actually finished this week. We finished the match by match stat book, which we've never had before. So I can give any stat on anything ever. It's unbelievable.
Oh, okay.
Crazy. Now that's like points, steals, correct, double up, niche, bonus. Like, Kirk asked me a great question the other day that I gave him. He asked, how often does a team win a match against a top 8 team? Because 8 teams obviously in the tournament here. How often does a team beat a top 8 team while also losing the bonus round? And now we're able to figure that out. 30% of the time, only 30% of the time, can you play a top 8 team, lose a bonus, and still win a match. So it's
but 30 seems like a lot, no? Like, because when you watch it, like when it's like a classic, like 6-4, like that's a real. If you win the bonus round, you look good. Like, you're probably going to win the game. Like, that's generally.
Yeah, but it's like that's still not a lot though in the grand scheme of things. Just think about how few matches are against a top 8 team to begin with. So it's like it is a smaller section of, like, that's still not a ton. The crazy thing is 2 teams have won championships in matches where they've lost the bonus. And 2 teams have also lost. I think niche is even worse. I think it's like, we looked at that too. It's like 15% of all matches against top 8 teams. If you miss the niche, you win the match. And 2 of them won titles. Uptown Balls, and then Kirk. Kirk missed a niche and won a title in that same year. So, yeah, pretty crazy. But yeah, we have all these stats now. There's some funny ones we've been able to.
Go on, throwing out.
The one that we this is Rico slander. I love my guy Rico, but it is teams that have lost matches when a player has scored 9 or more points in a match.
Okay.
So here I'm gonna sort it right now. Teams that have lost matches.
Kirk already knows these numbers, by the way. Kirk already knows this.
So there have been 45 people. 45 people in the history of the league, and there's been like 455 matches, I think. So 45 occurrences have somebody scored 9 or more points and lost a match. Nobody had ever scored more than 11 until this past week, and Eddie and Tommy in the same week. Or Eddie and someone else in the same week had scored like 13 or something. But here's the rub on this one. 45 occurrences that happened. Out of those 45, 8 of them have been teammates of Rico. That's like that is as Kelly this year. Kelly is this year's Kirk, where she scores a lot of points and she loses, and there's nothing she can do about it because like Kelly's not a sports person. And then obviously there's a ton of them that are Kirk. I mean, his name is littered all over this in terms of times where that happens. So that's just fucking crazy.
It's tight this year. It's tight this year at the top because I know you've got odds favorite Brandon Walker. He's also on a loaded team. That team is fucking loaded, but so is Team Minahan. So
they're both. It's crazy. Both of those teams, and this is going into a match of the extra match this Sunday. So this may change because they have a match this Sunday. But as of now, I believe Klemmer, Robbie, Fran, PFT, Brandon, and Kirk are all in the top 15 scoring. So that's one team takes up almost half of the top 15 in scoring. That's pretty crazy. I mean, they're both very good.
Averaging 16.8 points per game is the experts. 16.8.
Crazy. Most points per game in the history of the show so far. I mean, they don't have many opportunities to blow that, so they're probably going to hit that.
But they're going to. They're going to blow the tournament. They're going to fuck.
I don't like doing predictions, but I would assume if they don't win, they will once again lose their title, which would be the third time they've done that. Which would be that would be incredible.
How awesome is that?
He's been unreal. Brandon has been next level. And the crazy thing is, though, Fran has been as good as she's been, and PFT's been better than he's been probably since season 1. So they're a wagon, but so is Team Minahan. They are very fucking good. They're really good.
Jackson, you have an intro to do.
Well, we can't leave him waiting all day, Jeff. We decided we're gonna bring you two together, you and your big enemy. Let's bring in Iowa Minifan.
My guy, he's my buddy.
No, what?
Yeah, he's my guy now.
Yeah, didn't you hear about that? I think he said on the show they made up real quick.
Well, this has ruined the bit then.
Come on.
Yeah,
it's
not. Yeah.
Oh, hey, there he is.
So that's how y'all are gonna do me. You're gonna make me Iowa Minifan.
Yeah,
that was the plan.
Iowa Minifan's one of my Iowa Minifan I hated for one reason only, is because he replied to every. Well, okay, let's be.
He still does. I'll be fair for a second. Still does.
I'll be fair for a second. Jersey Jerry spoiled the mini golf that I won. It was not Iowa Minifan. But Iowa Minifan then proceeded to take that spoiler and reply to every single Barstool tweet about the mini golf, and it ruined my moment. Him and I are buddies now. I got over it. It's easy for me to get over those things.
Facts. But yeah, no.
I'm on Jeff's side. I agree.
We've been talking to Jeff, the last couple of weeks or whatever. Jeff said I'd really like the most, yeah, I've made up with Iowa Minifan, so I'd like the most zero, boring, bland takes guy. So we're like, all right, I know just the guy. I know exactly who to bring on. And I was like, Jeff, that's really nasty. But
I am happy to oblige.
My rule is with Minifans, and I've said this, it's like Star Wars, it's like the Sith. I can only have one person I hate at a time, and it is Steve from Gloucester. I hate Steve. I hate Steve. However, I am rooting.
Your tweet.
Very hard for him to make this basketball team. Very hard. And after this morning, even harder, because he was on the fuck. You know who was not on the floor? I like him. Kevin Bristol was not on the floor. I didn't see Cliff diving for balls. I saw Steve from Gloucester crawling.
Did you see Kevin's no look pass to Brando that got intercepted?
Yeah. Kevin is, and I can't talk to him. I'm a terrible basketball player, but Kevin is good when he's not in the game. Like, he was making a lot of shots just during like shoot around, it looked like. He had a couple of nice moments. Actually, there was a moment during the tryouts this morning where I think like all 4 of them scored on like 4 consecutive possessions, I think.
No, really?
Yes, at least 3. Maybe Brando didn't score.
That makes sense.
I know for a fact Cliff, Steve, and Kevin scored. Brando made. This is not exclusive info, but I have a hunch Brando ain't making this team, boys.
Wow. Wow.
I think Kirk did directly say there is no chance.
Tim tweeted out.
You can just
no, he's fighting an uphill battle.
You can just kind of sense that Brando's got little to no chance at this. But
do you not think he's the most appropriate though? He's probably the fittest, just given his age and all that. Like he's a body.
Kirk and I both.
In the lane.
That was not an exclusive to Kirk thing, by the way. Kirk and I both thought that he was in the military. We were like, when he showed up late. Yeah, when we showed up late, we both said, like, simultaneously, we were talking on the phone, we were like, surprising he showed up late. He's a military man. That's just not true. Like, he's not.
Were they just, you're just thinking of facts in that case then?
Yeah, I guess maybe, I don't know, maybe it's like, maybe it's the Top Gun mustache. I think that's what Kirk said. I think that's like what it is. That's why we think that, but.
Well, I did have it for the most of the time, so.
Right, so maybe that's why. Maybe we stereotyped the mustache. I guess it's not a bad stereotype, but I think Steve is the one that makes the most sense. Why do you hate him? So him and I were buddies, and he was really nice to me in Portland. And then I leaned into what I thought was one of the funniest, like, unnecessary shots that anyone's taken. McFuss Daddy said that Steve leaked the information of what he was doing in the live show, and Steve was like Gatsby at the pre-event for Portland. He was around giving out drinks, talking to everybody. He's like the star of the show. So the idea that maybe the fact that he might have let it slip wasn't that crazy. It was a joke too. Like, everyone in this world gets made fun of at some point, especially when you're on there. I mean, like, it happened, like, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
He did not take the joke funny. He then does the whole arm waving. He's in the world. He's out of the world. I'm quitting the show. I'm not in the show. So all that shit. That shit's fucking lame. That's like nobody gets the show less. And this is still true. Nobody, actually, I'm going to make it even grander. Nobody understands or gets something less than Steve gets the Kirk Minahan show. Nobody's ever not understood something more than he doesn't.
He gets it less than Andrew Augustus.
That's yes, he does. Yes, like it's beyond. But he is winning me back over. And he's, if you showed up at my door right now, I'd welcome him with open arms. I'd shake his hand. Very, very nice guy. Steve's a very nice guy. But in the world of the show, he's my enemy. He is my enemy.
Favorite thing is whenever
DMs trying to make up for it, I just delete him. I don't even fucking open them. They get
whenever he goes in and then all of a sudden he automatically is just suddenly in on the joke. That's always my favorite. It's like I see him complaining for days and days, and then he comes in studio. Automatically, he's like, "Yeah, I get it." It's awesome.
I liked when he first came in. I liked his he had anger, and he like didn't like people.
Yeah,
he was critical, and now he's too much like, "Oh yeah, Kirk, that's right." No, it's like go back to the old Steve. But I don't know. I mean, whatever. I'm rooting for him to make the basketball team. So in the end, he gets the last laugh here. So
I agree. I think Jackson, you and I said the same thing. Like when he first came in, although it was obviously he was like mega Bitsville with everything,
which is good. I like Bitsville. That's funny.
Yeah. Were those people filmed around his house really his friends? Almost certainly not.
We'll figure it out. I did easy there. Body sucks, Steve. Get out. Yeah, what's your middle name? William. Look at that. It's like a fucking when I read it, I got so rude. Come on.
They definitely weren't his actual mates. He's got no mates. He sits around at home all day with his Amazon packages, repurposing stuff and selling them on the I don't know, street corner or whatever he does. But yeah, when he comes, like, he was just so cringe with his last appearance. He was like,
he's been bad the last few
and like ball tickling. Yeah, it's like he had his like Kirk's cock so far down his throat. It was just I didn't like it.
But he's
good, maybe redemption story.
He's good when the bit's about him. So I guess my thought was like, are we gonna get a Steve from Gloucester like redemption arc? But we probably will while the basketball's going on, and then the second the basketball's done, he'll be back to being fucking.
He also, by the way, I don't follow the Shaddocks or anything, and I've long said they're the one part of the show that I've never I don't understand the Shaddocks. I don't understand who they are, what they are. when she was on with Cinema, is one of the all-time great clips when he fucking yelled at her.
Yeah.
But wasn't Steve like when Steve quit the show for the 9th time? Wasn't he like he was always with the
He's in the
Shadows?
chat. Yeah.
He
Oh,
dropped
yes.
them.
They did
He
super
dropped
chats
them
and
so fucking fast. Holy shit! The second he got welcomed back into KMS, he left the Shaddocks out to drive like nothing I've ever seen. Fucking, he
Is
got
that
out of there
true?
so fast.
Because
Yeah.
he was like he's like a Patreon subscriber, like in the chat. So that can
Yeah,
that can be absolutely verified.
He fucking holy shit! He fucking ripped off that Shaddocks hat so fast and put the KMS hat back on. Oh my god!
But I loved the transition from KMS to the Shaddocks was he got rid of the Italian background, the Italian flag background. He got rid of Kirk related stuff, and then it was Trump. It was Trump getting shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great, but that's great.
That was
Like,
why I unfollowed him.
People who
Exactly
who are involved in the show but don't get it at all, they're very funny. Like they're very useful. So,
which is fine if he had. Again, my issue with him was he kept doing the arm wavy. This is it, guys. I'm leaving, guys. This is it for. It's like okay, you've done that now 9 times. So yeah, he is my lone current. It'll probably change if he makes the team. I may have to fully remove that. And
yeah, who are some candidates?
Call him a friend again. There's
Who are
no
you
one I
thinking?
really hate. I like when people don't like me in the world. Like I love Sneakers hate for me because it's pure and it's unwavering. He had one moment he broke last Christmas when I wished him Merry Christmas, and he's like, "What the fuck am I supposed to say to this?" He's like, "Merry Christmas." I was like, "I hope you." That was like, I like that. Like I like that. Like
That was
I
good.
would never want Sneakers to like me. Like if I met him in person, I'd be nice to shake his hand or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
he'd be a nice guy to you.
yeah, whatever. But
Yeah,
like, I
he would.
never want him online to be like, "Oh, that was a great call today." No, like no. And that was my issue with Steve. It's just it felt like phony. Commit to the bit. Like even my guy, your fellow, your friend, they're Menners. Like every now and then Menners and I will spar, but like that. But there's a genuine thing there. And him and I had a big fight like 2 years ago. But it's like we'll talk movies, but then the other thing we'll argue about something. So yeah, that was my hate for Steve. So there's no candidate. Once I take Steve out of there, which again, the second he makes his team, I think it's over because I'm gonna admire the effort he put in to make the team. I don't know. I'll be haterless. I won't have anyone I hate.
Well, back to the team then. So Steve's got actually surprisingly good ball handling. Like he pump fakes. Like he's got moves where you're like, okay, this guy can knows what he's doing. But
Right, and he obviously
not gonna be able to
I think
run.
he was in good shape. He actually and he
Right.
knows it's not like a shot at him. He said it after those suicides, he was like, "This is not good." He was like, "This is bad." If he was in like really good shape, like he would be like a real asset because he knows what he's doing out there. That's the thing.
Yes.
Definitely
Yeah,
does.
he can direct it. He's like not a bad point guard. I think a bad instinct that they had was taking the microphone off him. I thought the heavy breathing was so funny.
It was a terrible instinct from Cullinane.
Yeah.
It was another classic Cullinane filming performance. We had the first 5 minutes where it was he had it on. He didn't have it
got a
on
lot of
auto-lock
criticism
or whatever.
last time, though. Yeah, it was. I thought it was better this time. I liked that he filmed vertically, so if you watch on the phone, you could see everything.
Yeah.
Last time he got criticism for not showing the game the whole time, and this time you saw everything, so that was good. And also, he got the mic on Kirk this time, which was good, so you could hear Kirk the whole time give his thoughts.
He did, but that's a perfect segue. Thank you, Jeff. I don't know if we're going to be able to hear this, but let me try this clip. You know what it was, Fax?
Yeah. I heard the and then the release.
Yeah.
Kirk
on Kirk.
the hot mic was pissing on it.
Yeah.
Wait, what did he say? I wasn't able to hear it.
No,
So
he was physically pissing like out of his dick. Like
Wait,
it was like
what?
the grunt and then like the release
Yeah.
and everything. It's very subtle. But I heard it. I thought I heard it on the live.
Yeah.
Can you play that again? What are you saying?
I think he spits into the urinal and then he starts pissing. Kirk.
Kirk. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Can you play that again?
I'll play it again, yeah. Because then Cullinane came up to him afterwards and went, "Shit, I left it on when I
No
went to the toilet."
way.
Yeah. Which is why Jeffrey was saying before, I didn't know if the stream was up. I wondered whether
double
Cullinane might take it down to get rid of it. Yeah, have a listen again.
Yeah, it's
That's
only for like a
so
second.
funny.
That's
It's only for
Yeah,
a
unbelievable.
second.
just a second.
But you hear like the classic, it's like
spit
the classic
grunt.
like
Yeah.
sigh, yeah,
The grunt, yeah, the grunt.
Yeah. So, yeah, Cullinane on top
Oh.
form as per usual.
Well, that is great.
And that is the segment that I kind of wanted to go into now, the producers. And speaking of that, the man that you just mentioned, Jeff, this is how furious he was on Friday. He was so angry with the producers that he couldn't come, apparently. Which
They were getting a lot of
indication-
shit last week, both of them.
So
Good.
So I guess
Why not?
we've got here with us. We've got the man that Kirk loves probably most in the world, you, Jeff, and one of the men that Kirk appears and says that he likes least in the world, Fax.
Yep.
And I'd like to get your views on both of the producers. So, Fax, can you just give us a little insight, from the
You're our
behind the
He's the
scenes?
one that worked with them. He worked with them. Yeah.
That's why
Exactly,
he's here.
yeah.
He's our insider.
Yeah, they talk a lot about all the stuff they do. Tell us what that really is.
So I guess the best way to illustrate it is I'll just talk about the last time I was there because that's the one in most recent memory. We did the show. I was sitting in my little hideaway room, so I'm not on camera. And then afterwards, I went over and, I did my thing, like thumbnail, timestamp, sent it over. And then I started cutting clips. And I'm sitting there at the desk and I'm cutting all the clips. And I look over at Justin and he's sitting there with his phone like dead on his fucking nose. And I just hear like Twitter videos just going over back and forth. And I was like, I just kind of sat there for a moment. I don't think he saw me, but I just kind of sat there and looked at him like, yeah, I'm doing this. All right, I got it all. Don't worry about it. And then just kept going and cutting clips. But that was the one thing. But other than that, especially when it was leading up to Laconia, like I gotta look at everything they do. Like people don't think they do a lot, but their prep sheets are usually pretty full. And then their guest spots were actually booked. I only saw a month out, but they said 3, so I probably just didn't like scroll through or whatever. I think it just comes down to they go in, they get the show ready. But now that I'm not there, I don't really know what they do after because usually how it goes is Dave like leaves like 15 minutes after the show's over. And then Justin's like, hey, Fax, can you give me 10 clips? And then I go, yeah, sure. And then some of them get posted and some of them don't.
You're full of shit, you know that? You go on these spaces like every fucking day and you say they come in with nothing. They got no prep.
Whoa.
No guests are booked.
Whoa,
I mean,
Jackson.
you saw the guest lineup this week. We got fucking no one. What do we got?
I didn't see that guest
Mama
lineup.
K,
And
Steve from Gloucester, and you're in these spaces for fucking till 3 a.m. going, this is why I'm here.
Okay, so this is what we're
I can
doing.
take over the job.
So
Well, you
you're
came
doing
on here. You came here in the DM. You said,
no.
I'm going to finally tell my truth. I'm going to air him out. And then you go, oh, no, yeah, Cullinane's actually a pretty good guy.
Actually, I've said that from the beginning, that Cullinane is my favorite. So that's not a secret.
Yeah, well, so why does he shit on you on the show? He fucking dumps on you every opportunity.
No,
That is
here's
true.
what happens.
Did you take Fax to lunch? Well.
Oh, what? Are we supposed to go to fucking McDonald's after and talk about our
guy
hopes
doesn't
and
like
dreams
you.
and how
They
much
don't
we
like
love
you.
each other? That doesn't
be
make
honest,
any
Fax.
sense.
Just be honest.
That doesn't make any sense, Jackson.
Wasn't it your last day? I'd imagine like your last day at a job after working there, even if it's interning remotely for 6 months. Oh, you go out for a little bit of lunch with the producers.
Unbelievable.
I guess
It's so
with
fucking. What do you mean you guess?
with people I've had like more than one actual conversation with, maybe, but I never spoke to them in like a real capacity.
Can we get a sane Jeff take?
I like that almost every argument or discussion about producers, like lunch is involved somehow. Like they it's always lunch is always involved with these.
I started with lobster ravioli.
I didn't even realize that was the
Well
standard. I've never
You'll
been an
never hear
intern
me-
before.
You'll never hear me publicly sue either of them. I like them both quite a bit. I think Dave does good work. I understand why people don't like some of the stories they bring in. There's times where there's stories thrown out there where I'm like, that's a weird, like Cullinane did throw one out there the other day where I think he, while it was leaving his mouth, he was like, I don't even know why I'm throwing this one at Kirk. I know what he's going to say. Sometimes that'd be my only like criticism, but I would never, you'll not hear me criticize their actual work because when I'm there, when I'm with them, they They put the work in. They know what they're doing. I think Cullinane coming back was a good thing. I'm glad he came back because I've liked Cullinane 2.0 era quite a bit. I'm also friends with them. I'm friends. So I'm a bad person to ask in that sense.
I'm gonna let you guys know
that's gonna lie to your face.
That is not what Jeff was saying in the spaces at all. I mean,
right, exactly.
Oh my God.
On his burner account.
I'm glad those aren't recorded, but
yeah, but why would he want me to bring up a story that I think he's not going to want to talk about?
But I mean, isn't it your job to find things that he does want to talk about?
Yeah, and we just went through all the things that we think he would want to talk about. What's a story in today's newspaper that you think he would want to talk about?
He's not the producer of the show.
Yeah,
you
but
are.
give me an idea.
No, it's your job, not his. He doesn't have to answer that.
Well, I can find something in 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, that's not his job.
Yeah, I know that one. I don't think he wants to talk about the Colts taking down their Tyreek thing. Yes.
No, I don't care. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Correct. Do you want to talk about Dave, NFL Pro Football Talk trying to get?
Sounds like you're not comfortable with the direction the show's taking creatively. Well, then do a different show.
That's not what I'm talking about.
That's no problem with me.
No, my point is,
no
if
hard
you don't,
feelings. We can shake hands and call it a day.
If we think you don't want to talk about certain things, we're not going to put them on the rundown, and then you're capped.
So the only times that I'll get a critique of them, which I don't love doing, but there are some like it's just a story selection sometimes where I'm like that's a weird read on the topic. Like that's a weird, and like I know like they're not friends with Kirk to the level like they're like they work for Kirk, and like I would consider them like friends and like that acquaintance, like they work for Kirk level. And I know like him and I have a lot of common interests. But there are some things where I'm like, that's odd that you would ask him that. Like he has no opinion on that. Like
But they do no research into the topics you're even referring to. Like they bring up topics and they're like, oh, I mean, I didn't even read the article, which is like a famous Dave bit of like grabbing a headline and being bewildered.
My favorite thing is when Kirk will be looking for a movie or a reference to a celebrity. And I'll always text him. I go, you were on a fucking island. It's like they won't. But I mean, like, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, like, and maybe if Kirk were here, he would tell me that, yes, that is the case. Like, should Dave and Justin watch and do everything that he likes, that Kirk likes? Should they watch every golf? Should they watch every movie he sees? I don't know. Maybe someone thinks the answer is yes to that. But in terms of like their work ethic, like I'll defend those guys. You know, I'll defend Justin. I do think Justin loves the show, but I also know that he's always going to get shit for not caring about the show from Kirk. So I hope he continues to let that roll off his chest and it doesn't eventually get him where we see no more Justin. So
great segue.
I could definitely say he is a big loyal show guy through and through, like to a fault. I mean, from my personal perspective, but like he is the number one loyal guy when it comes to, I'd even say like more specifically Kirk than even the show. It's just like Justin would die for Kirk Minahan without a second thought, which might be a bad thing, but at the same time, it's somewhat honorable to see.
Well, they are a very, and I will say this too. I'm going to defend them. I know it's not what people want to hear, but putting together live shows with as small of a team as they are is a lot of work and very impressive to me. That a lot of those types. The size of those shows are typically massive. Like every time a Barstool production, for the most part, comes into one of those like live venues, like we're always, no matter who it is, the smallest one. But the KMS team is the smallest by far. So there's very few of them. They put on a great show for what they do, and that includes like even basketball. Justin sat on basketball last year, and these Wi-Fi black hole basketball gyms, and like it always worked. It always got off. So I'll always give those guys credit. But I am biased though. I am biased because I do consider them friends. So.
But in a way, that kind of makes them. That makes like the day-to-day production and like effort look worse because they're so good. And they do so much with so little on the live shows.
Exactly.
That is day-to-day. I see what you're getting. I think that is what you're getting at, Jeff, isn't it?
That's what Jeff was saying. Yeah, correct.
But I would also say too, like here'd be my counter to that is again, stories is a different thing. There's sometimes where I am baffled by some of the stories they bring up, and that's not just them. I mean, Coleman and be like, hey. Kirk, what do you think about Michelle Obama? It's like he's not gonna comment on that, Coleman. Like that.
But he was honest about it.
But I do think Kirk does like a fairly stripped down show, right? Like, I mean, that is like the case. Like, I do think if Kirk was like, hey, I want more bells and whistles and like live grab, like I do think like you would get that from those guys. Like, I mean, they've tried.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
The fact that we're on YouTube, let's keep those fucking fingers crossed because I'm like so. I mean, there is that element. Like, it is a fairly stripped down show when they do it day to day. But
so you famously said, Jeff, that you like Coleman the guy, but you hate Coleman the producer.
Yeah, Though I've warmed up to the smug Coleman. I mean, it is all time. What he had a tweet earlier. He's gonna be great next. I cannot wait.
Pull it
for
up,
that.
Tim.
Which one?
It's a tweet with
I thought you had it.
he quoted Kirk.
Ooh.
Or he quoted the show. He quoted the show.
Hold on,
He
let's have a look.
said,
What's the issue? What's your Coleman issue?
like, what? I don't have an issue with Coleman. I mean, I'll never like that he blamed me for why he lost his job. I mean,
Yeah, that was tough.
Justin, I happened to be talking to Justin that day, and Justin slipped it into the conversation. Not like I seek Justin out to get Coleman fired, but the show tweeted he's better than Coleman, Kirk on Steve from Gloucester, and Coleman quoted it. Good. I don't care who's better or worse this team. Let's just win by any means possible. I love the hardo. Like Coleman's gotten very good at Twitter, in my opinion. Like he's leaned into like that rich boy that Jersey Shore attitude.
I agree.
Right. So I'm excited for next week. I'm very excited to have him back in that chair next week. It'll be nice to hear him in there again.
There was, in fact, I'll play a little bit. I won't play the whole thing. But he reposted this earlier today.
I am hiring for the Kirk Minahan show 2 producers. One is Coleman.
Sometimes you got to go back to actually move forward. And I don't mean going back to reminisce or chase ghosts. I mean going back to see where you came from. Where you been, how you got here. See where you're going.
First time at IKEA. It was a magical place. I love IKEA.
Hi, I'm Jack Coleman.
I know there are those that say you can't go back. Yes, you can.
It goes on
video of him with Content Kim and Alex Bennett is I can watch that loop for hours.
But you look at that. I think Quigs made it for Big Cat just before Cullinane just came
the
out.
Gryffindor dress up.
There's so much in that. Like we watched 30 seconds there. There's so much in there that like Coleman brought to the show. Like some of it obviously was good, some of it was shit, some of it was a bit cringy. But there was so much there. Like I just feel like now, like you go into a week, and Cullinane and Justin, there's nothing like that's going to come out of it. You're not going to find anything mad. Like we've got Mary, which is she's made up, right? We're all in this with agreement here, right? Completely made up.
Well, I do want to talk about that because I'm assuming that Jeff is like, no, I've met her. She's a great person.
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know.
You liar, Jeff.
I choose to believe she's real, but I have no proof of it. I do not have proof.
The Chinese restaurant story was crazy to me. I don't know. I think she drove like an hour to like have dinner for an hour and then drive back home again. I don't know.
That whole thing is
that's
bananas.
a wild move.
If you told me it's fake, if you said I have proof, I would say okay, I kind of believe you. Like I like Justin, but if you told me it's Bitsville and this is some like imaginary person, I'd say yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so then what's the point? Why would he go down?
Oh, I can never explain that. I can't explain any of it.
Yeah, there's no logic. There's no semblance of logic. You could write a book on it. It still wouldn't make sense as to why he made it up. That's why for me personally, that's why I think she's real. It's just because I've like gone through my brain. I've racked my brain longer than I want to admit, thinking about like, well, could this be? No. It makes no sense as to why he'd make it up.
Is it like a pen pal thing?
Ridiculous. Huh?
Like is it like a when you're a teenager, MSN Messenger, like is it just an online thing? Like or is it are they meeting?
See, I could get behind that, but
she's got to be real in some way, no?
Yeah, well, yeah, because I mean, Dave said he saw a picture.
Can we come to a consensus?
Dave doesn't really play the bits.
So did Kirk. Kirk originally said he saw a picture, and then on the last episode, he said he's never seen a picture. So that kind of threw me a little bit.
Yeah, Jackson.
He saw a picture, but they can't confirm that it is real. Like it's like they're like I've seen a picture, but like
like
they have
one on Twitter.
It's in the person, right?
Right.
Yeah, there's no picture of him with her. It's just a random picture of some chick that was on Twitter.
I don't know. I think Justin has more game than he's given credit for. I've seen him at work, and he's pretty good at spitting game. I've seen it live and in person.
He seems like the sort of guy that He seems like the sort of guy that would be great at setting it up and just can't seal the deal. He can't
He
put the cash in the
Justin's
deal.
a very nice guy, and he's also the kind of guy that he would be interested in anything you're giving him, even if I'm sure deep down he's like, boy, I don't give a fuck about what you're talking about. I mean, I'm sure that helps as well. Like, he is a very, like, he's a listener. You know, I'm sure there's maybe she just wants a guy that listens. That's what she's got with Justin. I mean, that's what it is.
Wait, a listener to like
and
to
she's got a lot
women
of
or in
problems.
general?
I think in general, but I think a nice woman who wants to hear
yeah,
have someone listen to their needs. I think Justin's going to be there for him.
Wow.
And where have you seen him chatting up birds? In fact, you said you've seen him in person. Laconia.
Tante's mention.
Yeah.
What
So I've heard.
Wait, hang on.
I've heard rumors about this. I didn't know if I wasn't the video.
Yeah, no, and I mean, that was peak Justin. Like, if that was the Justin that I interacted with like all the time, I would be super high on Justin. Super fun, super talkative. But once he's in that studio, he like looks at me and it's almost like he's like, oh, I'm not supposed to like you. So I'm just gonna look down. But yeah, Laconia, he was chatting it up. Well, I will say, to Justin's defense, he was not like chatting it up with a singular woman. He was chatting it up with like a couple. But
I've heard from other sources there was a specific,
like a couple. He's going to try and start a threesome, or like a couple of women.
Possibly, but I was just saying that the girl specifically was the one who was more interested in the conversation. But I'm just saying he's good at he's good at like shooting the shit.
When they all went out, right? When they all went out with like him, Coleman, Mark. Remember they all went drinking that one time? Wasn't he the one like talking to the girls in the videos that Coleman was posting? I may be wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
I can't remember.
I feel like
Coleman took a number, but he
I feel like him, he's approachable. Like, first look, I feel like Justin seems like an approachable guy just because he has like a I don't know, like a warm look to him. Like, he looks like he's not like an asshole. So when he starts a conversation with someone, and you know, like the way that Justin talks it is like Jeff is right in the way that it is just very sweet. Like, he is a very like calm, kind like way of talking, and I think girls gravitate towards that, whether it's for friendship or the next level. But yeah, if Laconia Justin was that Justin all the time, be great. He was all about it. He was having a good time.
If you do the maths, he was supposedly with Mary when he was chatting out this bird in Laconia.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think it was a more platonic thing. That's why I'm saying it was more a platonic thing.
He's a flirt.
You're being nice. He is a flirt.
Yeah, flirty. Yeah, I mean, you know, plenty of people are. Jackson's flirty. Fucking talks to every woman that looks his way.
That's ridiculous. No, enough.
Oh my god! If you guys saw the recording of the Spaces, Jackson just does not shut the fuck up.
Anyway, enough of that. What you're saying though is, I'm trying to date, so you think I should take a guy like Justin out? You know, he's going to warm them up a little bit. You know,
that's
great. I can finish the deal. You know, no wingman stuff. We get it, facts. You were married at like 15. We get it.
Oh, segue time. So we have this, right?
Oh God, that was surreal. That was like surreal seeing him there. And like we're like people, like we are like friendly with Klemmer. That's like not like, it's not weird that he was there because of that. But it's just like, you just don't, from where I know Klemmer and for how long I've now known him, a couple of years now, like the fact that he was at that wedding, it's just very funny. It's just funny.
Is he coming to your wedding?
Great question.
He'd definitely a maybe on that list. He's like, he's toeing the line. And I like Klemmer, I'm friends with him, but he's like toeing the line on that one.
As a coworker, maybe it's pretty respectable. I mean, if I'm Klemmer, I'd take that. Maybe
if him and I were to like do, there's a chance we do more like movie stuff together in the near future. If we do that, I could see a future where.
Hang on, you're like the Bengals and Trey Hendrickson. You're like, if you get enough sacks, I'll give you a payday. Like,
yeah, that's true.
What kind of pressure is that?
He's like, I already have a. He's just one of those things. Like, I don't know. Like, it's.
You're an asshole. You're like, oh, if we get 10,000 views, I'll invite you to my wedding.
Like,
what the fuck is that?
Like, I don't know. Like maybe I won't talk to him as much by the time the invites go. Maybe I don't talk to him as much. He's like, he toes the line.
Yeah, he's saying
nobody clip this.
He toes the line.
Yeah.
I also
So-
there's also like part of me almost feels like I need to just like if Kirk's are officiating, I almost feel like I need to invite him, but we'll see. We'll see.
Well,
no, you don't
this
gotta
is why-
no. You do not
You
have
might
to play into
derail
that. Don't get pressured into that.
Yeah,
If you don't
Kirk's
want
getting
him
the
there,
whole crowd
then
booing at
fucking
him.
bring him there.
Yeah.
That's just
Let's get
just
Klemmer
so.
out. Get Klemmer out.
Yeah, Klemmer's out. You know what? Klemmer, you're not
Yeah,
invited. I'm
fuck
sorry.
it.
You're not
Yeah,
invited
yeah,
to Jeff D Lowe's wedding, broken right here on the Unrelated Show. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. Confirmed.
Should have done more movie shows.
Yeah, just
Like,
rule it out.
what do you want?
I also don't know. I also don't know if he would feel compelled to even go. So I don't even know if I'd want to make him have to make that choice.
Mm,
He might be like,
needs
"Fuck
to
this,
be
I don't want to go."
very
yeah,
good
one
neutral
right.
stance. Yeah. Nah.
I got the Atlanta Magic stream.
Right, exactly.
Congrats to
So-
him for getting picks 1 and 2.
That hasn't worked very well, is it? That second one. Kirk's officiating your wedding, right, Jeff?
Yes.
Does he
That's
have
not for a
a
while
dress
either.
code?
That is the, I will say that's the other thing. I'm not just like saying that and like I know if he's like it's not for a while. Like I mean
You might not talk to him anymore.
Yeah.
Pressure's
I
on
mean,
Kirk.
Klemmer and I may not even be on speaking terms by then. So it's like who knows?
That's
Who
why.
knows?
See, that's why you rip the Band-Aid off now.
All I want to tell you is this: there's something coming up that's going to happen in an event that's happening in the next couple of weeks where he may not want to talk to me after it.
Oh, yes.
Oh, boy.
Thanks for the promo, Jeff.
A little tease. There you go.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Wow.
Kirk knows what it is as well. So we'll see. You'll know when you see it. I'll let you. I'll tell you that much. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you see it.
Can I have a guess?
Take a guess. Take a stab.
Is it anything like I don't keep up with the Barstool schedule, but is it anything like Amazing Race related?
No.
Rat Race.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Presented by Chris Klemmer.
And it was something that was in his
Chris
control,
Rivers.
and he fucked up. I'll put it that way. He doesn't know he fucked up yet. He doesn't know.
Oh,
So he doesn't know.
That's
No,
the
he
best
has
kind.
No idea.
That's the best kind.
Oh.
I love that.
He screwed something up, and he's not aware that he screwed something up. And
So he spoiled something.
I'll tell you after we're done
Okay.
All
what
right.
it is. I'll tell you after because it is the reveal of when people see this. It is going to be very funny.
Oh, suspense now.
Great.
Just end the recording.
Mhm.
So you tell are you going to give Kirk an outfit for when he officiates?
I don't know what. It'd be great if he showed up like he's like a mini golf outfit, just khaki
Hawaiian
shorts.
Jeff D Lowe Hawaiian shirt
Yeah,
with the glasses.
Or
Sunglasses.
just like in his
exactly,
usual outfit, just like the Skechers, the joggers,
Just
and like the
classic Miami Vice.
sport hoodie.
Miami Vice Jeff D Lowe. We'll go
It's
that
actually
look.
it's actually funny you say that. I'm literally looking right now. I'll be in Texas before I go to Chicago for the dozen, and my mom just said, "Hey, all my white suits, my white blazers arrived because I need a white. I'm doing white this year because the backdrop of the dozen is like very Miami Vice this year. It's like beach and like
I love it.
and none of them are white enough. Oh, look at that! Justin text just now. Look at this.
All right.
He wants to know. I gave him a chicken place recommendation in Disney Springs.
Orlando.
Where was this chicken place I need to try? It's Guy Fieri's chicken place in Disney Springs.
What's the weather? Hang on, I'm gonna check. What's the weather right now?
My
in
wife's
Orlando?
a big fan of that. I'll tell you the weather. I'm 30 minutes away.
Oh yeah. So how hot is it?
It right now here in Melbourne, it's 88. So I
That's
think
all right.
30 minutes away, it's probably like early 90s because it's supposed to get hot starting on Monday, but I'm leaving Monday, I think. So or Tuesday. So
88
I won't really do it
feels like 150 in.
Yeah,
in
that's what I'm
Florida.
looking at.
Yeah. When you get to Orlando and you're in the center, oh my God, it's tough. Last time I was in Orlando, that sun fucked me up.
He's
Yeah,
going
it was
he's going
rough.
at arguably one of the 3 worst times of the year to go when school's let out. Like he's
Yep.
going Memorial Day weekend. That's
And
like
how old is Bubba? Like 86.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
nobody.
Hey,
Nobody goes to Orlando without a set itinerary of what to do.
That was the most nuts part of it. Like that
literally
is the
there's
most plan.
only people who live close by. That is it.
Right.
Like-
right.
My wife and I, we would take day trips all the time to go to like Universal Orlando. Then we drive back home because it's 45 minutes away from where we live. But every time that we traveled when I was growing up, coming up from Wisconsin, there was a day hour set, and that's with like 8 kids but my parents had it all planned out. So
yuck.
for adults not having an itinerary, yeah, that's wild. Of like, hey, when are we going to Titusville to go to NASA? When are we going to Clearwater to go to Hooters? Because those are sizable trips. I think each from Orlando, Titusville is like a 20. No, that's like a 30, maybe 45-minute drive. But Clearwater is like an hour and a half. So
yeah, I've never seen anyone go to Orlando without like set things to do. It's not a place you go without knowing a little bit of what your itinerary is. It's not an on a whim city.
No, it's a horribly built city too. So going into Orlando is just a fucking hellscape. Like being outside in Kissimmee is all right, but like going into the heart of Orlando to like try to find actual shit to do that isn't like just getting a picture of you hugging Mickey is a whole different experience. Like it's gonna suck.
They're gonna go to Universal. Universal just had their biggest theme park opening maybe ever. They're gonna go. It's gonna be busy. They're gonna be able to move. It's gonna be unbelievable.
What have they just opened? You're a big theme park guy, Jeff. Well,
yeah, I love.
Yeah,
haven't been in a while, but yeah, he's going at literally the worst time with like a massive opening at Universal. Coleman's a big Universal guy.
What have they just opened?
Say it again.
What have they just opened? What area?
It's called Epic Universe. It's like 5 theme parks in one. It's like this, like it looks like it's like portals, and you go through the portal. You're in like Harry Potter land. You're in How to Train Your Dragon. You're in. It's very cool. It's a very cool idea. Like Disney scrambling to catch up, but like Justin's gonna go to that like the opening week, like close to Memorial Day weekend. Like it's unbelievable.
Or yeah, whenever something new opens, you cannot go for like if you want to have like a good time, you can't go for like 6 months. Maybe like it takes a while for it to die down, especially when something opens new, because everybody and their fucking mom from all across the world is coming in to go ride How to Train Your Dragon, or even when Toy Story Mania opened in Disney World, that line was 4 hours long.
Bubba with an IV in his arm, just like they're going to be dragging him out of there. Oh, it's going to be a disaster.
Oh, man.
You obviously had a great time, the Disney Boys, Jeff.
That was great. I hope we go again. That was awesome. That was a lot of fun. And I'd love to go too. Dave had like a big thing the next day he had to leave for. That was great. That was so stupid. I've been to Disneyland like a couple times now. I live nearby, but like Disney World I've only been like 3 times in my life. It's not a cheap trip, but I've never been like that where you are with a VIP and you get to do anything you want and get a black car from backstage to that. It was crazy. Yeah. It was very cool. It ruins the experience because it's hard to go back there now and just be like a regular human being and not with a multimillionaire. So it was cool though. That was awesome. That was an awesome trip.
You two were a great vibes guy.
I went in with I was like, I'm gonna be good at it.
Like you kept on complimenting my makes, and I was missing so many times. You're just like, there it is. Yeah. I was like, fuck
great
yeah,
teammate.
There it is.
Great teammate.
Great.
When was that? What was that about?
The free throw?
You were producing.
But what
right after the Ryder Cup, I think.
Was that the free throw competition?
Yeah, straight in Chicago, straight after the free throw competition.
Oh, it was free throw. Free throw.
I thought it was golf. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
No. Okay, that makes a lot. That makes a lot more. I'm like, I don't remember that at all about the Ryder Cup.
And then, I mean, Riggs has been absolved a bit of blame, but same day, this is you and Kirk again, Jeff, or a different match.
Oh, by the way, I haven't heard syllable 1 from Riggs about this show today. So I'm assuming we're not doing it. I have no idea.
He's had a big 48 hours.
Yeah, right. He's asking Tiger Woods the questions. He's at Riviera, so classic Riggs. He's completely flowing. I texted him, called me the other day. He said he was taping it. Called me back. Haven't heard from him yet. So
it's a busy guy. I don't know. Riggs is a busy guy.
Wow.
You're just seeing a pattern. Are we seeing a pattern though, Jeff? Where Tiger Woods knocks on his door, Jeff goes, "Fuck off, Kirk. Like I've got bigger, more important people to deal with." He ghosts him, and just is this a repeat of that? Do you reckon?
Maybe. I mean, they were tight as could be at mini golf, and now who knows? Like, who knows what's in development here? We'll see. I would love to. I'm curious if Riggs is going to be on Unnamed next week. I'm curious, who, do these names get pulled in? Do they come on and defend themselves? I don't know. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, Riggs won't answer the phone.
I think he'll be on. I think he's a busy guy. He's always somewhere playing golf, doing something.
Yeah, I mean, every time he calls into Kirk's show, he's like in a drive-through ordering a coffee.
We'll see. I don't know. I know as much about it as anyone watching does, so I have no answers on this. Fascinating though.
I
do hope they
exactly
resolve it before the dozen though, because I don't want it to overshadow the dozen. So I do hope
Right.
hope it comes to a head before then. But then I
Bye,
do hope
everyone.
it'd be nice if some of the anger spilled over. I would love ZD versus Minahan in the tournament. There's like a little sparring between them, which I think there would be regardless.
Why don't you just rig it? I mean, you've got the fan vote. I know it's only 10%, but just rig it.
I don't even think. I mean, first of all, it's so much harder to do than you'd even imagine. Otherwise, unless I just gave them.
Yeah, because you've got to deal with guys like Alan, who's hates Kirk on your team.
Yeah.
So I mean, no wonder it's hard.
Alan famously wrote the winning question for Kirk. So.
Why did you for like 2 or 3 seasons or whatever? Why did you just let Brandon sit in on all the episodes as Alan?
He loved to watch. I don't know. He just liked to watch them. It was kind of weird.
You don't see that as like an integrity issue?
No, not really, because it's not like he's seeing any of my stuff. He's just watching it from afar. It's kind of weird.
So he's never contributed questions.
Earlier the first season, he definitely did. A lot of people did first season. A lot of people, but I mean, you got to remember that's back when
you got to build the blocks there, Jackson.
Yeah, but you can't have him backstage, scouting. Brandon's scouting back there.
That's back when it wasn't a league, though. I mean, that was back when they played every single match.
Wow.
And then when we switched over to like Chicago would play Kirk, like he'd throw some input, but once it got to be like super competitive, that all went out the window. We stopped having people help, and the categories got less goofy and kind of all of that. No, I would love for them to play, but there's double eliminations here, so you just kind of got to hope that they meet up at some point. They're probably gonna be on the other side of the bracket from each other, is my guess.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the bracket.
Whether ZD gets in as a play-in or a top 16, like the top 16, they're probably gonna be on the other side, so they wouldn't meet for a bit, I don't think. But I hope they do. I hope they resolve it. But I also hope like there's like a little bit of bad blood, maybe, where it's like if they meet, it's a good little back and forth.
I hope
and
they don't.
Also, it's
better that way.
Klemmer. Actually, I would say Dave go after Klemmer, but Dave could not have given less of a fuck about Klemmer in their match last week. He could not have cared any less about Klemmer. He was like wallpaper to him. So
my favorite part of that show was Kirk listing all the what was it, tournament winners?
All the tournament wins. You had
five guys here.
Winningest people in the history of the show on that.
Yeah, well done to all the 5 guys in this match.
5 champions. One is never won a tournament game.
Have you 2 voted, Tim and Fax, or what?
Yeah, it was like 5 days ago, wasn't it? When the
All-Star voting. Wow, Fax. Wow.
I voted for. I'm trying to think of which one I did. I voted for the captain one. I didn't vote for the MVP.
Yeah. Captain of the hair. Yeah.
Yeah. So Will has a really good chance at winning that captain. He's got my vote. Great guy.
No, you're not supposed to vote for people who like have a chance. I voted for Kirk. I voted for Rico Bosco, and then I voted for the Marty Mush, Yandel, and DA. That's my guys. I love that team. They're so fucking funny.
They get it. They're funny.
They're the best.
Because there's teams that are bad who get frustrated. They're also, I will say, they're not great, but they're also not as bad as like foreplay.
Oh no, they're that bad. No, they're that bad.
No, they're not as bad as foreplay. Foreplay is like
true.
Foreplay is bad.
That's another great team though. That's another funny team.
Oh, they're funny. Ice Dogs will get points. They can't typically string enough together to win matches. That's the problem. Things have to go the wrong way for their opponent to win.
This is my first year like watching more of it because just kind of getting into it. So it's been interesting, but that's probably my most entertaining team. I agree. I've really enjoyed. I didn't really know who Yandel was, but I thought he's been really, really good. And
but David Andrews is sneaky, really funny.
Yes,
and also out of incompetence, he can't get his camera working. Last game, his fucking lights went off for like a minute.
The other it was Joey Chestnut. That's right. Yeah, that was their original. And David jumped in like last second, and yeah, that was a great ad because he's been very funny.
So I'm trying to think, what's like the weirdest teammate? Maybe Joey Chestnut. There's been a couple odd ones. I can't remember. I'm blanking right now.
You could argue he's the worst player in the history of the show. Actually, no. probably Stu Feiner or Alex Bennett, but he was up there.
Stu Feiner had some funny moments though.
He had the glasses store. That was very funny. I like Stu. Stu's a lot though. Stu's a little much for the dozen sometimes. I think there's Fans didn't love his episodes. I think it was a little too boisterous.
Yeah.
Not the most downvoted episode ever. The most downvoted episode ever is still the Trista cheating episode. But
I watched it like 5 times.
Dave still thinks that we should have let her stay in the league because he says the next match would have been. He's probably right. It would have been a high view count, but the fans were so angry about it. I had to get her out of there. That was what it was. That was it. I had to like the fans spoke. They're like, get her the fuck out.
Yeah, there were like 30-minute YouTube breakdown videos on the case. You know, like it was.
It was so egregious too. It was so like. Also, I think there was a take. Some people said like she was doing it for the controversy. I think she was trying to get away with it. So I don't think
really. But it was
master.
It was blatant.
Yeah, I think she did a bad job at being blatantly cheating. I think that's what it came down.
Is she still in contact with people at Barstool?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
There's no redemption arc.
There was definitely like she
can't cross the dozen, man.
Dave had a rant about this on the Dave Portnoy show that people were too mean on her way out, and I think he's probably right on that. I mean, I stand by. He doesn't agree with me. I stand by that kicking her out of the league, but that was because people hate fans were so mad about that. They were so angry.
It might be like Pete Rose. Like maybe when she dies, we can have the discussion.
If she ever came back, I'd let. If for some reason she made a reunion with the company, I'd let her play again. There's very big news we're going to be announcing it during the regular season championship match, which I won't say who's in it. Obviously, don't want to spoil. We are announcing a major hammer being dropped. Someone will be stripped of victories.
What?
Historically, retroactively, we've decided that in the history books there is some person or some team that will be stripped of all of their victories. So
what the fuck?
Not from this season.
After the season. Historically speaking, I was looking at the stat book and I'm like, this team does not.
I care more about this than your Klemmer news. This is big. I'm baffled.
Oh, Jackson's very
Is there a hint?
If you're a big enough fan, you can make the leap as to who I'm talking about.
I'm gonna have a think about it. All right.
There's one team that doesn't deserve to have any of their victories, and it's about time we go back and retroactively strip them of every win.
Is this some bullshit like Reggie Bush NCAA thing, or is this like legit?
No, this is legit. I mean, this is like this is a long time coming. This should have happened a long time ago. I told Brandon the other day. Brandon's like, that's a little another hint. Brandon's like, good. He goes, about time.
Oh, I'm so fucking G'd up for this. Wow. Newsbreaker Jeff.
Yeah, it's a big one.
A lot of excuses.
Jeff, can I get your take on what Fax was thinking when he gave Kirk notes on how to make the Konya sketches funnier?
I was in the day after that.
It's a great question.
I was in that day. That's a crazy move.
I can't believe that is just like the narrative.
Facts. You'll have your chance to respond, but
okay.
Jeff,
Thank you. All right.
Can you give your take first, Jeff? On
you just like that. I wasn't there, but I could only imagine that's one of the all-time bad reading of the room. Just a bad reading of the room in that situation, because I've seen him filming these things, and like he is cooking. He has got his old Hollywood writer's room mentality. Like he's trying, he's got ideas, and he wants them executed. He wants to so Fax flying in there with like maybe do this. It's a tough reading of the room. That's a tough time to do.
I think that's worse than the last intern who like just started taking shots at the basketball game. Like I think that's probably.
What did he say? Like he gave Kirk defensive. Like he's like, defense. What the fuck? Get the fuck out of here.
And it wasn't it. You said like less cinema. Like you don't want any cinema in the shots. Like you didn't think he was funny. Facts.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Go on, defend yourself then. Let's hear your version.
Okay. Here's what happened as exactly as it was. We were filming one of the scenes. It was like during one of the Survivor challenges. And Jeff is dead on. Kirk is just moving. He's going. He's spitting out shit, blah, blah, blah. We're at a part where he's like building a puzzle and he's getting frustrated with it, like for the thing. And Dave and I are trying to figure out the stage lights or like the lighting. So Dave and I are fucking with these big ass lights. And then, so none of us are paying attention. And all of a sudden Kirk goes, hey, so how about we do this or that? And then I didn't realize, I kind of realized he spoke, and I looked up and Dave was not looking at him at all. So I was like, oh shit, he's asking me something. And so then I just went, oh yeah, I'm like, that will work if you just did this. And then Kirk goes, yeah, that's good. And then just goes back to it. I'm like, good, we survived that. Just fucking first time he's acknowledged my existence outside of my like spot on the show. I'm like, all right, we dodged a bullet.
But you were too scared to ask what he actually said.
No, yeah. I just answered his question and was just like, yeah, that works. That could work. Cause like it was something with like
no wonder why
doing
the
a bit with
producers
Ted.
fucking suck.
And then I just was like, yeah. And then the next day, I'm just sitting there because yeah, Jeff and Jared are in there. I'm like, hey, we had a good day yesterday, filmed a lot of stuff. I'm like, I'm liking how this is going so far. And so I sat down, and the entire episode is dedicated to how much Kirk hates me. And I was like, I don't think that went as well as I thought. Because like the first thing he's like, I think I hate facts. I think I'm gonna fire him. And that's why I like Dave, because Dave at that point he said, yeah, bad move. Dave didn't know what the fuck happened, so that was just a blatant lie. But he did defend me and say, yeah, we should still keep him. So that's where like Dave gets my good graces. I mean, to go home after like because that was my first week, I think. So to go home and be like, hey babe, yeah, so I'm fired already. And then like to go to my commander and like have to go into his office and be like, hey, I got fired from my podcast internship because I unknowingly gave a suggestion and my boss didn't like it.
Did that not cross your mind?
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy you didn't realize what was happening.
Facts.
It was.
We all expected you to get fired. I love your facts. We expect you to get fired.
Yeah, but you also expected me to talk a lot more. I did not talk.
Sure.
I did not talk. Every time that Kirk and I ever spoke to each other, he initiated the conversation. Every time.
See, that's well trained.
And and that was from the beginning, but it was even more strict after he basically wanted me to like die. I was like, all right, got it. Just don't fucking look at the guy.
So why did you fly up to Boston?
Because as part of my agreement, it was everything that we had planned out was all me and Dave. And everyone is like, oh, I know.
And yet he could never defend you. The topic would come up. Kirk would be like, Dave, why is he coming up to Boston? And he'd be like, I don't know. I guess he wants to be involved.
Yeah. Okay, so that was stupid because his text, we had talked like right before, because originally I thought that I had to be up there, and that was because of the whole time, because it was a misunderstanding for me about like how the program worked.
Right.
But then Dave randomly texted me like out of nowhere and was like, hey, just so you know, you don't have to be here all the time. Like you can do most of this from home. And then I was like, oh, okay, all right. I'm like, but I still want to be in the studio to kind of like see how the, sausage is made. And then he's like, yeah, we'll just do like 1 week a month if that's good. And I was like, perfect. Sounds good. I'm like, I'll just do it like the first week of every month. And then he was like, perfect. So
and did you learned the ones and twos?
Yeah. I learned the behind the scenes, and then I learned it the first time I was there, and then after Kirk laid into me, everyone who like ever came in was just terrified to speak to me except for Brando, but everyone was like, I cannot acknowledge this guy because for some reason it's really wrong, so I'm just gonna look down. And I was like, yeah, all right, fine by me, whatever. But then Brando spoke to me, and if we're talking about people who threw me under the bus, I mean, Mike is 1-1. Every single time we had a conversation, I would walk away being like, wow, Mike's a good guy, good conversationalist. And then the next day he's like, well, facts told me. And then would just be like the wildest shit ever. Like when Brando came for the show, he said, hey, facts. And I was like, poked my head out of my little room. What's up, dude? He's like, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. We conversate. And then he's like, holy shit. He's like, I'm so fucking nervous. I don't know what to do. And so me trying to be a good person, never do that, by the way. I go, hey, man, I'm like, you really don't have to worry about it. I'm like, Kirk is just going to carry the conversation and you just respond when he asks you shit. It's simple. You got it, dude. Don't worry about it. And then Mike is like,
Max driving the show against him.
Max is giving Brando tips about how to be a show. I'm like,
yeah.
Stop listening. Just stop. Like every time. And then my last appearance.
That is bad though. That is bad. Like if I'm Kirk and I go into the studio and I see you coaching Brando, I'm fucking furious.
Then get over it. I don't know what to say at that point. It's just like whatever.
No,
dude. Like
get back in your little fucking room.
Yeah, I know, but it's like if people acknowledge me, so like how the real world works, where like humans interact with each other. When somebody acknowledges you, you say something back, and then you have a conversation because you guys know each other. So that's what I was doing. I was doing what any human would do.
He doesn't know his place, guys.
I did learn over the 4 months how a Kirk Minahan show works. I learned every in and out. So it's like, got it. I could never work here. I'd probably be realistically fired within a week if I was like actually working and was like supposed to do more than just cut clips. I'd be like, yeah, he'd fire me within a week. I'd be the first person he'd ever fire. I just no doubt in my mind, because he was dead on about that though. I will give him credit. Kirk was dead on. I am a 2 cents guy. I love giving my 2 cents. I take pride in it.
Not the place for that, obviously.
No, yeah. See, that's why I stopped. I respectfully stopped after I accidentally did. But I mean, he is right about that. If I was a regular employee, yes, I would probably give my 2 cents and then get fired. So, hey, glad we made it out.
So, Jeff is still looking for his new enemy. Facts, you've clearly got yours.
Not yet. I have not fully taken Steve from Gloucester out. Let's make that very clear. He's still still do not like Steve.
He's there. He's
waiting. That is Steve from Fraudster, as I say. Fucking
damn, that nostril's high up. Is that just like the photo? that nostril is like one is completely separated from the other.
That's why he's got good conditioning. That's why he got good conditioning. He's able to breathe.
Yeah, I guess.
Before we get you out of it, I just had a question about lunches.
I got a couple as well.
This is just specific to you, Jeff. Obviously, you're famous for not paying any money towards lunches with Kirk, getting stitched up a little bit for it. I think it was David, wasn't it? That
yes,
served you.
Yeah, overblown. Definitely overblown.
And then you made Kirk take the picture of you looking all mopey faced on your past there because Dune 2 was delayed.
Before I knew who Daver was, I didn't know what the fuck Daver was.
Yeah. And then was it yesterday or the day before you had lunch with Montante? I
did. Yeah, I went to Huntington with Montante.
How was that?
It's a good time. I like Montante. Montante is one of the few people though in this world who I also would probably consider like a friend, and I like talk to like about non-KMS things. So that was good. It was funny. Montante's a funny guy. He is a character, but it was a good conversation with my guy Montante. Glad he likes California.
He loves Petco Park.
He does, yeah. Well, I don't blame him. It's great. It's a great ballpark.
Go on, Jackson. Go. You had a couple more questions.
The big curious one I had, I'm sure it's a simple answer, but it's like my favorite character in the show is you reached out to Keith. What was the process there? How'd you find that dude?
So I honestly didn't believe Cullinane at all.
You didn't?
No. I was like, that's an AI voice.
Oh,
like,
I've always been under the impression it's real guy.
Like here is crazy. But then I was like, okay, so maybe it is a typo. And that's obviously what it ended up being. It ended up being a typo. So I don't know. I asked a lot of people. I asked around, tried to find out who potentially might find it, because it was tough because there's so many voiceover guys on Fiverr.
What do you mean you asked a lot of people? Like, you talking about like your GMA connections and
like,
stuff?
Hey, he's like, have you seen anything? Did somebody maybe post somewhere? And so eventually enough people pieced it together and was able to find the guy. I messaged him. I said, hey, like, please don't take offense to this, but do you use AI?
What's his name? Keith what?
Keith, I don't
Keith, I don't know. It's probably AI.
Keith.
Keith.
I don't know if he gives the last name here.
Wow.
At Your Imaging Guy is his.
What?
That's an AI ass username. I'm just saying.
So I can. You talk about Keith Shipton.
Keith. Does it say his last name somewhere?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn.
Okay.
No, this is a guy from Melbourne. No, that's my.
He's got 7,935 reviews on Fiverr and 7,825 are 5-star. That's a fucking That's big
Solid,
time.
dude.
He's got a great voice.
Big time.
Oh, here he is, Keith. Oh, there he is.
He's let me here. This will be my last thing before we go here. This is like this could be a little exclusive for you here. This is I actually think he wanted to sound more personable. I think that's why he did this, because he wanted to prove. He want. Let me try to. Am I gonna be allowed to present here? I'm gonna try and play the video, because just listening. I think he tried to become very personable in the beginning of the audio file, so he could prove to me that he's a real guy. He did say he's like Fiverr forces them to record lines for AI purposes. So he said, but full disclosure, I don't know. He did try to find Cullinane's order too. I mean, he said he wasn't able to find it or something, but he said he will continue looking for it. Because I do want that firm proof. But
did you give him like a date range?
Whatever's typed out. Here we go.
Did you give him a date range, kind of like of when he did it initially? Because that was like right around.
Oh yeah, I gave him everything. I gave him everything.
I guess I help him out a little bit.
Is this gonna work? Are you able to share this?
So the first batch here will be dry with no vocal effects, and then I'm going to take those same ones, put effects on them, and they'll be at the end of the file. So ready, and let's go. By the way, thank you for coming over, and it's nice to virtually meet you, Jeff.
Yeah, that's he was like, I'm gonna prove this motherfucker that I'm not AI. As much as he was like, yeah, what's up, man? Like it's great.
All right, let's go.
And just in the same tone too. That's perfect. That is just his voice is just that.
It's my favorite.
Awesome.
It's one of my favorite things I've ever heard on the show. Is that
and I love that the drops are like 10 times louder than every other audio on the show. As well. that's the best part.
My favorite one's awesome, man. That's
the best one.
That's the best one.
Well, I think on that bombshell, Jeff,
I love it.
I think time to wrap up. Thank you, Fax. Thank you, Jeff.
Appreciate you too.
Thank
you,
of course, guys. Yeah,
Much
glad we
appreciate
found
your time. Yeah. Take it easy.
Thank you, boys.
Wrap it up. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. I'm here without you, baby, but you're still on my lonely mind. I think about you, baby, and I dream about you all